Community, we live today from Los Angeles, California. What's good? What's good? Yo, I want to thank everybody for getting me to 30,000 followers. What the fuck? 30,000 followers? Yo, S Breezy, Galvin Hart, what up, Prosperity, Juan, Brown. Yo, y'all the real MVPs. We at 30K right now. Jay Bodabo, what's good? Yo, the great Andrea Perry. Y'all go follow my boy. Lady Resilient 83. My community, you probably outside smashing ladies. You know, I've actually taken, I don't want to say taking a break, but I am not as out in the streets as I let it out to be. Well, yo, self-care mama, one of my day ones. Where my day ones at? Let me say what's up, my community. Hey, yo, Mason JB, what's good? We gonna see you on stage soon. S Breezy, I appreciate you guys. Y'all tap in for sure. Kenya Ass Keys, what up? Yo, Dallas, Texas. Where can we listen to more of your music? Yo, y'all go check out my stuff on YouTube. I only have it out on YouTube right now. I'm not really out there in the music world. Miss Lingy, what's good? One of my day ones in my world, Marcia. One of my day ones. I'm waiting to see what you are gonna say today. Yo, we got some hot topics today. I'm interested to see who's bold enough to tap in, who wants to get on the live with your boy. Juan XCVI, one of my day ones, bro. I'm not going back to the dating show. I have a series of things that are going to be coming out soon, but Adrian Anthony, I never hit you back. Yo, ask your question. Hop on right now. Ask your question. What's good? Yes, today's conversation is going to be muy interesante. We have some triggering stuff. We got to have some tough conversations, y'all. Y'all ready for today? DeMarcus Delman, what's good? Kiki Kane, what's good? Natural Lean, I see you. Let's see. Prosperity, double OD. But we're going to hop right in. Let's go. My community wants to say, what's good? I'm for the sheets, not the streets. Yo, my heart gets broken way too easily to be out here in the streets. Yo,
Yo, what's
my
up?
brother, my
What's going
brother.
on?
What's good, man?
Nothing much, man. Chilling,
Yo,
chilling.
tell us your name, tell us your age, where you from, what's good?
Yeah, I'm Richard Damus, better known as Prosperity,
Prosperity.
as my IG. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Oh,
So yeah,
yo,
so
Brooklyn's in the house. Yo, I appreciate you hopping on, man. Yo, tell me
no
about yourself.
problem.
How can I help you?
No, I'll just I just want to hopped on. Just want to show some love and appreciation. I liked you on the dating show I watched. I like your stance and how you conducted yourself. In terms of morality and in terms with against with women and your understanding. Just show props and show love. You feel me?
Yo,
Just hop on the love. Let's
I
live. Just do
appreciate
that.
you. I really do appreciate you. Do you have any questions from the show, or what did you feel like you learned? How did I inspire you? I like to talk to my community and see, because a lot of people felt something. So how did I inspire you?
Well, I'm a single man myself. I'm I've not been married. Don't have kids.
You
And
don't
the
have
dating
kids?
scene out here is very no. Dating scene out here is very difficult in New York. And I understand your stance. In terms of how you know being approachable to women, and it's and it's just like understand now, how the level of masculinity and how we're supposed to approach ourselves. They don't, and how you stand, is like pretty much how I stand. So
Yeah,
you know,
it's tough out here because there are a lot of variables that go into the mating and the dating that we're doing, and a lot of it is out of our control. And what we do have control over isn't enough to close the gap, I think. So
correct.
I think that we have to be more purposeful in our dealings with our partners. And even when we're in a relationship, I think people want the relationship so bad, and then when they finally get in it, that's they get a little bit lazy. When
Yeah.
that's when the work really starts. Tell me about how long were you married?
No, I've never been married. I've been engaged, and I was engaged for a year. That was like over 7 years ago,
Okay. Why
and
did
then
you
I
guys?
called it off.
Why'd you call it
Yeah, I
off?
called it off. It was yeah, it just wasn't working out. You know, I kind of going through my own things financially, but now I'm good. But she had her ways. That
Let's.
was I didn't like.
I want to dive into those ways. What were some of the early red flags that you saw that grew as the relationship went on?
She was controlling. She was controlling, very controlling, very insecure. You know, um, I would do things, and I'll go out, and then say I'll have a conversation with like another girl or something. She would just make an assumption that I was trying to talk or do something. Kind of thought it was, I did something prior before we even hooked up. I kind of, I take the responsibility for that, but she kind of,
Mm-hmm.
at that point, the trust level was gone from that. So
So you said
she kept watching everything.
so you said you did something early in the relationship, and do you feel like two things? Because here's what I see happen a lot is when we make mistakes as men, whether we sleep with someone else or we're lying, a lot of times we will go above and beyond and cross our boundaries just to try and make the women in our life happy. And simultaneously, sometimes they'll use that against us to get what they want. Do you feel like that happened to you?
Facts. Well, we were kind of talking. We weren't like physical, like face to face. We were kind of live. We were talking like via live, but I was still talking to a girl at the time. Well, not kind of talking because I was kind of over with her, but she kind of, I had to help her out with a few things, and something happened, and then like she had to find out some way, from
So,
from some other source. She kind of
so
found out.
I'm
So then,
so here. Let me tell you what I'm feeling right now. I'm not really following you because I feel like you're trying to be vague because we're online and people are watching and you may want to save face.
yeah,
Would you be more
yeah.
comfortable having this conversation offline and being a bit more specific, or can you be more specific now? Like, what was it that you would have done differently?
I would have not talked to the last girl. I don't want to get into deep into
Okay,
detail into it because
I
it's
can
kind of
respect that.
it's crazy.
I can
Yeah, so
respect
I
that.
don't want to, but but if I had my way, I wouldn't have messed with the other girl. I would just let her go, leave her, and just kind of focus on her.
So,
I don't think that would have been an issue.
so you feel like by basically trying to do poly, you're trying to do poly, right? You trying to talk to both of them at the same time. You would
No,
have just
no, not Polly. No, she was just,
why were
manipulating. Like
you
she
talking to
just,
the other girl then if your
I wasn't
fiance was who you wanted to be with?
I wasn't
Mhm.
talking. But I had to help her out with something, and she did some shit. She just
Okay,
lured me
okay,
into some shit. You
okay,
feel me?
okay. Here, let's take it back. Did you have to?
No, I didn't
You
have to.
wanted to. You wanted to. Here's where we
Yeah,
can start to take responsibility. You wanted to help your friend out. There's nothing wrong with that, right? She didn't make you
facts,
do it, but you wanted to help, and it went haywire.
facts.
Shit, man.
Correct.
Sometimes it goes down like that. What you got, Sometimes it be like that, bro. Sometimes shit just go haywire because okay, here's what it is. People don't understand when you get new information, you have the right to make new decisions. People think just because they have been dating this person for X amount of years or they've known this person for X amount of years that they owe them something. Just because you know somebody for a long time doesn't mean you owe them anything. Once you get new information, you get to make new decisions. So, this is where we as men can start to take responsibility for our actions when we do things that we know we probably would have done differently once we got that new information. So, my question to you is what advice can you give to the brothers out there when they're about to pop the question, when they're thinking about wanting to be with this woman for a long time? What advice can you give to the community for us?
I would take it, I'll say, tread slowly,
Mm,
um, really take the time to get to know the person that you want to be
yeah,
with before you even pop
yeah.
the question. Don't rush. Fools kind of
Mm,
rush. You know,
mm, mm,
I could tell you from experience, I rushed into it. I didn't really get to know the girl, who she was. I'll say take it one day at a time. If you feel that way, kind of get some insight, perspective,
mm,
other people,
mm.
who are in your circle, who are in relationships, friends and family. Get them some advice from them. Let them know. Ask, how was it like? What you had to do, especially if you're inexperienced from that position. That you
Yeah,
are.
yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, I
get
love
some
that.
intuition, some good advice. I would say that. That's something I didn't do. I just rushed into it very idiotically, not really thinking, not really understanding.
Mm, mm,
And I would tell people, that's what I would tell people who
mm, mm.
are looking to try and pop the question, pretty much.
And I love this advice. My mentor says, wait at least 12 months before you make
Yeah.
any like concrete, long-lasting decisions with the person that you're with. Now, let's get to the topic because I'll keep you on for a little bit longer. I'd love to get your opinion on why why should we get married? What's the point of getting married these days?
Good question. I mean, there's the sense of morality. Um, it's just gone now. It doesn't make any sense anymore. I think, especially the mindset of today's women, I don't I don't see the point, of being married.
I
I
think
really.
being married does have value. For example, I think if you have children, I think being married offers a sense of safety, support, stability for the children if it's done right. But I also think we each of us we all have our own needs, right? So financial needs, physical needs, emotional needs, mental needs. We do need each other. So to say that we don't need marriage, I don't think is the right perspective. But we do need to ask ourselves why. Why do you personally want to get married? What was it for you that made you want to get married initially?
I was kind of, I felt like I was kind of up there in age. At the time, I was around in my early 30s.
Hmm.
I would say like 30, 33, 34.
Hmm.
And I wanted to, I had a sense of feeling, that I was getting older, and I was like, I need to settle down. I need to find someone to talk to. And I ended up, finding somebody that was around my you know, the area from my hometown, and we started talking, and one thing led to another, and then, I kind of felt some type of way, and I just popped the question, you know, irrevocably, not really understanding, it take time
Hmm.
to know someone, but it was just an age thing for me.
Sure.
I've been single, I've been single for the majority of my time in my
Hmm.
20s. When I got to my 30s, I felt like, it was time.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, I think the advice you gave earlier about just taking things slow, getting to know a person before you make a decision is really the best way to go. So, oh, Prosperity, you with us? My community. My community. Can y'all still hear me all right? I don't know. I think his internet went out or something. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. My community. Yo, I appreciate you coming on, Prosperity. Yo, we are here to talk about it. We are here to discuss it. Yo, we got another caller. What's good? Yo, my
What's up,
man.
man? What's up?
Yo, what's
So,
up, man?
sorry, I'm at a cafe. I was doing some homework.
No worries, man.
Um,
What's your name? Where you from? How old are you?
Adrian Anthony, from
Adrian.
Dallas, Texas, and
Dallas.
I'm
What's
21.
up?
21. Yeah,
Beautiful,
man.
man.
I was just calling because I reached out to you about the dental, about like how to go into the dental field and stuff like that. You said you were going to connect me, and I never heard anything back.
Oh shit! So you're 21 years old.
Yeah,
What are you studying right now?
microbiology and infectious diseases.
You're studying microbiology and what else?
Infectious diseases.
Infectious diseases. So what school are you in?
University of Texas, Austin.
Oh, are you UTA?
Yeah, sir. Big UT. Hook 'em horns.
Good for you. Good
Yes,
for
sir.
you. So you're right now. You're on summer break
Mm,
from UT,
yeah.
and you're studying. Are you taking summer classes right now,
Yeah, physics too.
bro? You are on track, bro. The fact that
Yeah,
you even
man.
asked me what you can do, you are on track. Now, the next step for you is just going to be getting in front of as many dentists as you can because we're going to be the ones that are going to continue to lift you up as you go through your studies. There's nothing that we can do to help you study except maybe point you in the right direction for resources. But you have to do the work, and you're doing the work, so I'm proud of you for doing it.
Yeah, I'm a senior. Already have 100 shadowing hours. Um, I guess like more so, do you have any connections with any admissions officers or anything like that?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. I'm gonna put you in contact with a few people. Okay. You see the classy Dr. Monica right here? She just said that, yo, he's definitely on track. I'm going to a dental conference in Vegas at the end of the month, and I'm gonna be surrounded around like a bunch of dentists. Is there any way that you can get to Vegas July 26th?
Um, that's a hard ass for me, man. I really
That's
don't have that
okay.
money.
That's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I mean, but I no, I wouldn't be able to get to California or
Okay.
Vegas, which is Nevada. My bad. But if you
We're
have any
gonna we're gonna
connections,
We're going to reconnect, and I'm going to put you in contact with a bunch of people from Dallas
okay.
and an admissions officer who I think she's not the dean, but she's working in the admissions office. So I think she's still working in the admissions office. I think she got bumped up, but we're going to have you straight,
Yeah.
bro. So why do you want to be a dentist?
Okay, that's a really good question. Sorry, is it too loud around me? Can you hear me all
No,
right?
you're good. You're good.
Okay. I want to be a dentist. Surprisingly, because I want to. Well, okay. The first answer is because I want to be a doctor. That's the
Okay.
first one. When I was little, you know, I want to be a doctor, but I was discouraged when I first applied to undergrad because I'd never seen any black doctors before,
Okay.
especially dentists. But I always loved the dentist, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna do this for 4 years, I might as well make the most of it, right?
Okay.
So I decided to go ahead and go the pre-dental route based off the fact that I have a passion for dentistry in a way of this, right? I actually love Legos. And I think of rebuilding teeth as rebuilding Legos. It's an interesting way of like, putting back enamel or crowns or
Mm-hmm.
doing anything like that. Like I just kind of see it as like rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been really good with my hands, and I mean, the smile is the first thing you see in a person's face, and I honestly like it's just something like it's just something that I would love to do as a career
Yeah.
and just keep going forward in, especially pediatric dentistry. I shadow
Okay.
pediatrics and
Okay.
definitely love children.
Why do you want to work in pediatrics?
Um, I've shadowed general, pediatrics, and ortho.
Mm-hmm.
I will say the reason why I want to go to pediatrics is I just love children. I love youth. I love seeing it. Like when I go to church, I hear a baby cry. It's
Mm-hmm.
like okay, we're still progressing in life. I guess I have a big heart
I have a
for kids. So
question
yeah.
for you. Where did you learn how to hold space for children?
What did I learn how to? Honestly, I think it's just something I found. I grew up with two parents, so um, having a family is something that's really big to me. Having family of
Mm-hmm.
my own one day is really big to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess just naturally through that and through patience in Christ, I just learned that I love kids.
What would you do if you were sitting as a dentist and a kid was sitting in front of you crying and screaming that they didn't want to have any work done? What would you do in that moment?
What I do in that moment?
Mm-hmm.
Well, kids, one thing about kids is that they're really honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would ask, why didn't they want anything done? If they
Mm-hmm.
were scared, what were they scared about? I would think I would try to ease any insecurities that they had
Mm-hmm.
in, a very playful manner.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would try to distract them with something, maybe something else that they're, infatuated with. Like with me, I think someone would get me is a conversation with Legos or maybe the Cowboys. If you want to talk to me about that. So
Mm-hmm.
I would just, yeah, I would just get them to talk about something else.
How would you be feeling if you had like another patient in another chair and then you had the parents yelling in your ears? How would you be feeling?
Well, funny enough, I work in retail, so it happens more often than you think. Uh, honestly, sometimes it's just about being straightforward. Like, okay, wait, hold on, calm down. Like we just need to take a moment, take a step back, and just go from there. You know,
Bro,
just address one person at a time.
bro, we just wrote your personal statement.
Really?
We just wrote your personal statement. I'm gonna post this on YouTube tomorrow. I want you to go find it, and I want you to either download it or transcribe it or do something to get it on paper. And when it's time for you to write your personal statement of why you want to go to dental school, I want you to repeat everything that you just told me because it was genuine, it was honest, it was real. It wasn't you weren't trying to impress me. You weren't trying to be something you're not. You came with real life experiences. This is what dental schools want to see because being a dentist is different from being a dental student. And a lot of people, when they apply to dental school, they tell the administration office why they would be a good dental student. Dental schools want to hear why you would be a good dentist. Just because you have the grades, just because you have the test scores, just because you're good at studying, everybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Why would I bring my kids to come see you is what they want to know. And so the fact that you already know you want to do pedo, the fact that you already know how you would handle a situation, the dentistry itself, the drilling of the teeth and the no, they'll teach you that. You don't need to worry about that. They're going to teach you that. They need to know that you have what it takes to represent their school's name on your chest when you're in their office. That's what they want to know. And so when you start to write your personal statement, you're already going to be set up because you don't have to come up with anything you already know. And this is what dental schools want to hear. So we're going to have you straight, man. I don't care what it takes. We're going to get you into dental school because this is what it's about. I think the only thing that maybe you can add to your resume that might help bolster it would be going on a mission trip where you go overseas and you get to see how dentistry is done, like grassroots, and you get to prove to yourself that you really want to do dentistry because it's hard work. It's not easy and it's not mentally easy. And you need to have a certain level of awareness going into it so you're not slapped in the face with how challenging it can be.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even mean to cut you off.
no, no.
But actually, that was going on a mission trip was actually something that I was interested in.
Hmm.
I guess earlier on in my undergrad, before I got
Okay.
to this point. But you know, maybe if it fits in or if God permits it, it's something I'll do before I submit my application. I'm already studying for the DAT right now.
Okay.
Um, but I will say that through I'm a Sigma on campus, and
Oh, dope.
through Phi Beta Sigma, actually I set up a partnership with St. David's Hospital, and what we'll be doing is giving out free dental kits to students on
Oh,
campus, and they're
I
providing us with
love
like
that.
200. Yeah, so yeah, we'll be doing that and providing dental hygiene information to anybody that needs it.
I absolutely love that. This is what it
Yeah.
takes. I wish I knew more men like you who were as passionate about the field because this is what it takes. A lot of my colleagues, it's tough out there. It's hard work. There's some of my colleagues in the chat right now who knows what I'm talking about. It's not easy work. So when shit hits the fan, you have to be able to fall back on the passion. You have to be able to fall back on the dedication, the commitment, the love for it, because not every day is easy and not every day is glamorous. And there are some days where you're like, shit, do I really want to do this? And so these are the moments that you're going to have to remember like, yo, don't worry about being a good dental student. Worry about being a good dentist and you'll succeed because the first 2 years are pretty much going to be more or less like undergrad. You know, you're in the gross anatomy lab, so you're dissecting a body. That might be a little different for you. You're going to be working with different dental instruments and learning like how to, like you said, with the Legos. It's. Oh, write that down. I prep. The classy Dr. Monica said I prep. I don't know what that is, but I'm sure it'll help you get to where you need to go.
How much?
I'm like, I don't know if they had that when I was going to dental school, but
Yeah, is it better than DAT boot camp?
uh, I think DAT boot camp is relatively new. I tried all of them. If it was out there, I tried all of them just to try and compare what information was being given and what they felt like was the most important information. That way, you're covering all your bases. But classy Dr. Monica says yes, it's better than DAT boot camp. So check out iPrep, and that can help you get you where you need to be academically. But when you're ready to be a dentist, you come find me, because one piece of advice I will give you as you're going through and you're matriculating through your process, figure out what type of dentistry you like to do. You said you like working with kids, so that is a great start. Now, everything you do needs to be centered around that. Obviously, you're going to learn adult teeth and the differences and morphology and all the different things, but you need to keep in the back of your mind where your end goal is. So the fact that you know you want to do pedo, you need to dive into it to make sure that's what you want to do. Try endo. I do oral surgery and I do implants. That's something that I like to do. I don't know how pediatric dentists do it. If you ask me, I'd be like, yo, bro, find another way. But like, Godspeed to you. If you like working with kids, I do feel like the pediatric dentists that I know are godsends, they're angels. They're out there doing the Lord's work. Because Lord knows I couldn't do it. I don't even got kids of my own. I ain't fucking with that shit. Oh, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. But somebody's got to do it. And if you want to do it, I want to support you and I want to make sure that you get to where you need to be, because it's not easy, but it is worth it. It's so worth it, bro. Your life's going to be set. You don't even know. You're going to be so good. So
Thank you.
just keep studying, keep working, and tap in with me. Hit me in the DMs again. Sometimes it gets lost in the craziness. So if I didn't respond to you, hit me again. I definitely will see it eventually. And if you have any questions, let me know. And I will put you in contact with a couple pediatric dentists that I know. And I'll ask around too. We got a pretty good network, so don't worry about that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you. That'd be a
keep,
blessing, man.
keep, keep working, man. Just at this point, you gotta just study. This is the time to study. This is what it is.
Yeah,
This is
burnout's
what it
real.
is. So yeah, bro,
Yeah.
I know. And it only gets worse in dental school. You talk about, for me, I had to study for 24 hours. I'm gonna tell you right now. When I first got into dental school, I got voted class president. I was class president for my entire class. It was dope as fuck. I was so happy. I was like recording lectures, going to meetings, thinking I was big shit. Bro, after the first semester, my GPA wasn't high enough for me to move forward into the second semester. So they effectively put me on the bench. I had to sit out my second semester of dental school. I lost my class presidency position. I had to go back and repeat my first year again. So I had to come back over the summertime with our gross anatomy professor. And we were in the lab studying, trying to figure it out. Bro, it's not nice. You have to 100% dedicate yourself to the work. And I wasn't a good test taker. I'm still not a good test taker. I don't even like going to trivia nights because I get anxiety. So you have to really focus on the work and the studying. It's not easy, but if you do it right the first time, it's gonna make your life so much easier going through it.
I think one thing that I'll really benefit from when I get to dental school is the fact that when you get in, I'm not gonna say it's like if you're assured that you're gonna get out. I mean, but if you put in the work, you're gonna get out, right? Compared to undergrad, you can put in the work, it's still not getting in.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to have everything together, and I think that it'll just at ease a lot of, I guess, a lot of anxiety or pressures as soon as I get in wherever I go. Where did you go, by the way?
I went to Baylor Dental. They call. Oh, I went to
Oh, in
dental
A
school
and
in
M.
Dallas. I
In
went to A
A.
and
Oh,
M.
okay.
Yeah,
All right.
bro. That school
What
is so
is?
fucking nice now.
That's
I
a
can't
school I
even
want to get.
believe,
That's a school I want to go to, but a 3.8
bro.
GPA for average is
What's the okay?
insane for undergrad.
I'm gonna. Okay, you're in Dallas, right? I
Well,
bet
I'm
if you
in.
go,
Well,
I, I bet if you go there, she's still there. She's there over the summer. Write this name down. Ernie Brooks. No, no, I
okay,
think she changed her name to Dr. Lacey. No, she got married. Her name's Lacey now. Lacey. She's
okay,
a black woman. I want you to go to Baylor one of these days. I want you to walk into her admissions office and I want you to say, "Can I talk to Dr. Ernie Lacey?" And when you
okay,
see her, tell her Dr. Elon sent you. She probably knows me as Kwame though. But anyway, just tell her I sent you.
okay. All
I
right.
want you to
Thank you,
go see
man.
I want you to go see her and she will make sure that you get into Baylor.
Man, that'd be great because
She's gonna do her best. She's gonna do her best. But I'll tell you this, I applied to I think at the end of it was like 26 dental schools or something like that. I applied to like a bunch. I went and saw a bunch. Texas A&M is like one of the best schools. So
right.
if you get into Texas and you're from Dallas,
Yeah, I'm from McKinney specifically.
so
Yeah.
my parents have a place out in Fort Worth right now.
Okay, that's a good place to be
Yeah,
at.
I grew up
Yeah.
in Irving.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. My
Where the
brother went to
old campus
MacArthur.
is.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I had a friend that went to
my brother went
MacArthur
to Mac.
actually.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Where'd you go? Did you go
I went to North Hills in Los
North?
Colinas.
Okay.
This is like a
All right.
small charter school. I only had like 35 people in my graduating class. It was
I
wild.
I know where
It was
North
wild.
Hills is though.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do
It's
know.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they have like an equestrian center right next to it.
Dang, really?
It was wild. It was wild. It was fun though.
Did you
It
ever
was
go to
fun.
Deep Ellum when you were out there?
Yeah, yeah. I did. I did. Actually,
But
one of
no,
my favorite barbecue joints, Pecan Lodge, is in Deep Ellum.
oh, I've never been there. But all
It's
right,
dope, man. It's dope. But
that
yeah,
sounds good.
go see Ernie. Tell her I said what's up, and tell her that you're trying to go to dental school, and you're from Dallas.
I will. I will. I'll let her know. Thank you so much, man.
Y'all appreciate you.
Yeah,
Tap in with me, man. I want to stay in contact with you.
I
Like I
got you.
said, just keep hitting me up. If it gets lost in the shuffle, just hit me up. If you really need something, I'll find you.
Hey, thank you so much, man. I
I
really
appre-
appreciate that.
My pleasure, man. Good luck to you. Proud of you,
You too.
bro.
Thank you,
Yeah.
big dog.
Peace, man. That was Adrian, my homie. Hey, that's what it's about, yo. We got to get our people into school because this life is nice. I love being a dentist, y'all. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Oh wait, who else wants to join? Y'all trying to fuck with your boy? Y'all trying to fuck with your boy? Oh, my community. Felicia Boutique, what's good? One of my day ones. Yo, what's good? Who are you? What's your
I'm
name?
Ren. How are you?
Ren, nice to meet you. Oh shit, where you at, girl?
In
I,
Mexico, it's my
where are
hobby.
you?
In Mexico, in Cancun.
In Cancun. Good for you. Good for you.
Doing work,
Wait,
but
what you
it's
working for?
I own my own maternal and child health tech company, so I'm
What is that? What company?
a mom and baby tech company. So we take care of pregnant moms and postpartum people, and basically meet them where they are in the palm of their
Hold,
hands on their cell phone.
hold on. So you're telling me you work with the specific population that works with moms who are going through postpartum depression?
That's part of what we do, but basically we support Black mothers through their pregnancy and into parenthood. But I trained as a physician, and after X amount of years of practicing, I was like, I can't bury another mom who looks like me, or another baby who looks like me, and so being in the clinic, by the time you get to me, it's too late. But I want it to be where babies are made, which are in the community and in the hands of our moms and our babies and
Wait,
their.
you're a doctor?
Yeah, I'm a physician.
You're a trained physician that doesn't practice. What did you do before? You were family.
No, I practiced before. I was OB-GYN, family medicine. I ran centers
Oh.
at major
Mm,
hospitals and
mm,
academic
mm.
institutions, and decided in 2017 that I wanted to do something different. So I branched out and started
Wow.
and founded my own company.
Hey, let's give her a round of applause, y'all. That's dope as fuck. Now, that's what I'm
Yeah,
talking about. Taking your life into your own hands. Now you have autonomy, sovereignty. Yeah, you still doing a little bit of work right now, but shit, you doing it on the beach.
that's right, with a great view. And I have a $1.25 million report due on Monday. So I'm like, hey,
Oh
I'm gonna
shit.
get done. It's a lot of money to serve others and make a huge impact. So
Good,
I do what I gotta do.
good. I'm so proud of you. So, what city are you based in?
I'm out of California, but our programs are national.
Oh wow. So,
My girls are gonna be so crazy. So they told me about you.
okay, what they say? What they
Yes,
say?
they
What
said
you heard about? What you heard about me?
they call me Dr. A, and they're like, Dr. A, did you see Pop the Balloon? I'm like, what is that? Y'all know I don't really watch TV and stuff. And they're like,
Mhm.
no, you gotta watch it. And this man, he said this and he said that. So they played it for me, and I was like, okay, those are facts. What he's saying makes sense to me.
Sure.
I don't understand the problem here, and it's true, and I don't want to see you end up like me at this age looking for something and getting all the wrong information, and then it's just you, and I have like two
Mm,
dogs, and I love my company and my soul work, but there are things that I wish I knew when I was in my 20s that
mm.
nobody else taught me. It was easier for me to learn how to be a Harvard trained and Ivy League trained physician than it was about what are the keys between loving relationships, healthy relationships, and what we should be looking for in our partners.
Oh, thank you so much for so beautifully, eloquently saying that. That's so refreshing.
Thank you.
What advice are you gonna give? Can you give to my community for the 20-year-olds, 30-year-old? Like, what advice would you give your younger self?
Well, I'll give some advice to the ladies that I've been seeing on Pop the Balloon. A lot of the things that people are looking for in partners is quite superficial and
Mm,
not sustainable. So when I see things like, oh, he's not tall enough, or what really gets me as a black woman and black physician who works predominantly and gets my money from white environments, when I hear
mhm.
people be like, oh, he's too dark or he's too this, I'm like, to everybody else, we just black, regardless, right? We're black, and we need stronger families. We need our children to come into the world with stronger families. It's unfortunate, but 70+% of black babies in the United States are born to single unwedded mothers,
Is it
and that has
70% now? Is
greater
it
than
70?
70%. Greater than 70%.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
I think there are aggregate factors. So, of course, people look at policies. So, of course, there are policies that exist that if you have two incomes, that you don't qualify for certain things that you may need
Mhm.
early on in your life for pregnancy, whether that's Medicaid or WIC, et cetera. And that's what we've been looking into. So, we just launched a huge study looking at, even though 70% of our babies are born to single unwedded mothers, does that mean that they're not partnered? Does that mean that they don't have the support that they need? And so we just surveyed at Essence Festival 1,300 moms to get their birth story and
Oh
their
wow.
relationship stories. And so we're looking at those trends. But I think that, unfortunately, many of us come from single parent households, even if our fathers were involved. So, like, my father was involved, but I grew up in a household where every other weekend I would go to the door looking for my dad, and I'd be like, oh, that's not my dad, that's my brother's dad, right? Like, and that doesn't teach you how to have a successful and healthy relationship in partnership with someone under the same roof. And
Yeah.
so, a lot of us, including myself, I was taught about relationships from TV, and it's just
Mm,
not real. It's not something that I could model. It's not something I knew what to look for. And in fact, in Black communities, in my generation, we were just taught like boys are bad, stay away from them, don't this, don't that, don't this. But there was nothing about what you should do, what you should look for. And so, as my program Shiro, when we work with our moms and our women in our communities, it's really talking about what are some of those values that you need to be aligned. Even if, like, I see people who are on your channel who are non monogamous, and that's totally fine. It's about honesty, it's about truth, it's about
mhm,
creating partnerships that are complementary and compatible. And so how do you do that beyond like, oh, he's too dark or he's not tall enough or I didn't like his shoes? I'm like, girl, buy him some more shoes. The man's got it up here and in here, and that's what's going to be sustainable over time for you and your family and your children.
What are we gonna do about this mentality that I feel like is rampant in our community, where if you don't do anything for me, then you're not worth my time? And you said something that actually blew my mind, and I'm a little bit scared to dive into it because I didn't know that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like this is what you said, that your generation was taught that men are bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Whatever you do, don't get pregnant. Leave those boys alone. Boys can't do anything but get you pregnant. And so growing up in a black community, like I say I come from the hood of Detroit all the way to the halls of Harvard,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what I was taught. And when I think about the church we went to, so like religion is very prevalent in our populations. And
Mm-hmm.
when I think about that, I'm like, so many of the moms, even in the churches, didn't have like men next to them that they could call husbands. And so I think a lot of our moms, I just know from my own mom's story, because I've gone back to her, that we were raised to be these independent, strong black women. And I'm like, being a strong black woman is killing us. There's no other group I've ever heard. I went to med school with Asians, uh, lots of white students, and Indian students, and never did I hear like, "Ooh, she's such a strong Indian woman." Like, no one says that because they have strong Indian men, strong Asian men, strong white men. And so I grew up with this like almost John Henryism approach to life, that you don't need a man. And I don't teach that to the women that I serve. I'm like, you absolutely need a partner.
Hold
All
on, T.
of those
Can I stop you
things.
for a second? Can I
Mhm.
stop you for like? Can you teach the community what this John Henryism mentality is?
Uh, yeah, so John Henry was a man back like right after slavery. So that was like the Reconstruction period. And he worked on the railroad and building the railroad. And he was a black man. And they created it was like a machine. Like, I don't do this, don't understand like the man terms and the construction terms, but built a machine that could basically lay track faster than humans could. Very similar to how people are like, I'm not doing anything with AI, I can do better than AI.
Right.
And John Henry, as a black man, decided like, I can outpace this machine. I'm going to show you that I'm worthy. I'm going to show you I can do this. And basically, he did demonstrate that he could, and he built his railroad faster than the machine could. But at the end of it, when he was done, he died within, I mean, it's days. Let's just say days. I won't give an exact number, but he died in days. So it's this whole idea of like, you can demonstrate to the world that you don't need anybody else and that you can be independent, but it will cost you your life. You don't have to be. And I really believe now, like an interdependency and partnership and together synergistically, there are things we can do that we could never do alone.
Can I tell you a story?
Please.
This isn't my story. My mentor shared this with me, and I hope I don't butcher it, but I want to share it with you anyway because it serves a greater purpose of what we're talking about. Back in the Roman Empire, there was this very, very wealthy man. I think his name was Crassus, I think. And Crassus was the wealthiest man in the Roman Empire. How did he get so wealthy, you ask? Well, he had a team of firefighters, and anytime there was a fire, he would pull up on with his firefighter team and basically stare at the house that was on fire. And the owners would say, please help put out the fire. Crassus said, okay, how about this? How about you sell me your house for, let's just say, $1,000 for round terms. But I paid $20,000 for it, said the owner. All the while, this house was burning down. And as the house continued to burn, Crassus said, okay, now the offer is $500. At this point, the owner of the house realized what was happening. Crassus was basically putting this person in a situation where, yo, you're either going to sell me your house or we're both going to watch it burn to the ground. This is how Crassus became the most wealthiest man in Rome, because he would buy up all the real estate. Now, in the waning moments of the houses burning all the way down, and when the owners decided not to sell, all they had left was their pride, because all they had to do is, you're either going to leave with nothing or you're going to leave with at least something. And so the reason I'm telling this story is because I feel like, and you mentioned this earlier, the older women get, the harder it is to find a partner. It's just reality. The value of men goes up as we get older, and the value of women goes down as they get older. And so when I tell that story, I likened it to the ego of women and the ego that comes with, I'm not going to settle for anything more than I think I deserve. And it comes to a certain point in their lives where they realize, oh shit, I would have done something different in the past if I would have. Maybe I would have sold the burning house before it burned to ashes. Now, I know that is very crass, no pun intended.
Like burning houses, you can have it. I mean,
I
I
know.
get the point. I would have likened it to that if you have a destination,
Mm-hmm.
having a map isn't good enough. You have to know exactly where you are and then where you're going and then
Mm-hmm.
fill in that map. But you can't fill in the map if you don't have the right information. You can't fill in the
Right.
map if you're like, you just don't know what you're doing. And so
Right.
I don't think the message here is about settling. I think the
Mm-hmm.
message here is about clarity on what it is that you desire, what your
Mm-hmm.
non-negotiables are, and really putting the time in there to put yourself in spaces and places to have that. When I was younger, I think number one, I didn't know what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say, I just want a nice guy. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not specific. Yet I could manifest everything else in my life because I was very specific and very deliberate with my words.
Mm-hmm.
I have vision books that I knew I wanted to be a doctor. I knew I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. So the visualization, the spoken word, and then the effort that I put in to do it. Yet I look back at all that and I never put a partner in there. And that is because of many things, but a lot of it has to do with not one person ever asked me beyond being a doctor, what else did I want in my life? So every med student I get,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, Dr. A, I want to do a TED Talk. I want to do this. I want to do that like
Yeah.
you. I want to be a doctor, just like the conversation you had with the young man.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell them, like, that's wonderful, but tell me the kind of life you want. Do you want to have
Mm.
a family? Do you want to go on vacation? Do you want children? Because that all has to
Mm-hmm.
be intertwined in your plan. And
Yeah.
no one told me that. So now I'm at a point in my life where I know that not only are the men that I'm seeking a minority,
Mm-hmm.
I am a minority, but at the same time, people say it's like finding a needle in a haystack, and I'm like, it's not. We kind of roll in the same circles and stuff, so it's possible. I just know that had I had someone like me sharing these
Yeah.
stories and this advice in my 20s and 30s, then I probably would have had a different outcome.
And I 100% agree with you. I do think that it's more than just settling, right? How can you make a decision when you don't even know what the rules of the game is, essentially? And I don't want to like place blame or add any culpability to the situation, but what can we offer? What value can we offer to this generation of people who are trying to come up, trying to learn, trying to find love, trying to feel safe, that we didn't have growing up?
I think it's all about honesty and transparency.
Mm-hmm.
With the first gentleman that you had, I'm sitting here doing this report and I was like, I'm about to go. But for
Mm-hmm.
him, like when he shared the the situation regarding his fiance, for instance. There
Mm-hmm.
were lots of red flags that were just like, you don't get married just because of an age, right? Like, you get married
Right.
and you use many of the things that, you know, I'll go backwards. So when I look at my med school class,
Mm-hmm.
there were only 10 black folks in my
Mm-hmm.
class, and everybody else was of another racial background. And I can tell you, everyone from a other racial background, they never had to settle. They married their equal counterparts. They were never told that they couldn't marry another doctor. And many of them, in their minds, they're like, marrying a doctor is not where you want to go. We have no availability. We have no time. Marry someone who's an entrepreneur, for instance. And so their moms were and their families were feeding them information early on that I just didn't have an ecosystem to teach me those things. So I've had to learn them over time. But I've also learned by taking care of moms and families over 20 years is that marriage is not marriage, is not marriage, is not partnership. So everybody's
Mm-hmm.
marriage is different. Every partnership is different, and stop trying to create a partnership that looks like someone else's, but really tap into yourself and say, what is it that I desire?
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, who do I have to become to be attractive to a person like that? And then what compatibility would we create that's sustainable?
Mm-hmm.
So then back to this,
Mm-hmm.
like, I didn't like his pants and I'm gonna
Sure.
pop my balloon. I'm like,
Yeah.
the man didn't say one word and you popping a balloon because you didn't like his pants. I'm like, I can get him more pants. And that's so minute when you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about long-term partnerships
Right.
that it's like, I want to know how the man thinks. What's his vision?
Right.
And is this a vision that I can get behind and
Mm-hmm.
alongside? Because like you said, I feel for those natural masculine and feminine traits to infiltrate a relationship, I have to be able to believe in you and your vision and your mission, and then I got you. But if I feel like, why am I smarter and I can do all this better than you? Then you just end up being a friend.
You know, how is anyone supposed to come to your table and be like, yo, I'm going to lead you exactly where you need to go because you've done so much, you've accomplished so much that it is even for me and what I've done, coming to you and being like, yo, Rena, Rena,
Dr.
terrible with
Ren,
Ren,
people call me Ren.
Ren, how can I enhance your life? How can I add value to your life? Two things. One, most people are not asking that question. And you said something earlier about how women should ask themselves, who do I need to become to attract a man like that? And I don't think women are asking themselves that question either. So if men started asking the question, how can I add value to the woman's life? And if women started asking, who do I need to become to attract said men? Then I think we would have more cohesiveness. But speak on that for me.
No, I think those are facts. But I think it's also important to define for yourself what a relationship is. So it's not like you even mentioned to that dude about being polyamorous or polyamorous and polygamy are two different things, but there are people who desire polyamory and there are other people that do as well. And if you have a baseline and your foundation of honesty and truth, that's a relationship where there's compatibility. What's not compatible is finding someone who is monogamous and then you have fallen in love with someone who couldn't be monogamous if they wanted to, or you paid them to, or they put a ring on your finger to like spend their life with you. So how are you getting to these trust-based conversations without judgment to really see where a person is and then make a decision not out of anger because you can't, because this person's not necessarily what you want, but out
Mm,
of like thanking that person for their honesty and their transparency. And I
mm,
don't
mm,
think it's really about like, what can I bring or what can you bring? That's the first step. But it's like, what can we do synergistically
mm,
together? And when
mm,
I see that synergy, that becomes very, 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 very attractive to me.
mm, mm, I love that. I love that. And you're so on point because and when you're able to be honest, man, honesty is so hard. That was one of the things that changed my life when I was in therapy and doing my thing. When I got to a point where I realized, oh, I need to take responsibility. Like literally say to myself, this is happening because I dot dot dot. Because I did something or didn't do something or don't know something or need to learn something. What am I doing to literally create my external reality? I okay, talk to us about how social media has fucked up the dating game.
You're gonna have to bring somebody else on because, like I said, I'm not like really. If you go to my social media page, you're just gonna see my dogs. You're gonna be like, she's a dog mom. What is all this?
That is hilarious.
Um, but I work with reproductive age women. My whole team. One of the things I'm most proud of is that I hire mothers and young moms and women, and they're the ones who are like, you gotta go check this out and see what he was saying and what's going on. I don't understand at all what's going on
Yeah.
in this generation. But I try to learn and I give space for people to be who they are and their most authentic self, if it's who they are, not
Mm,
trying to be someone else, but who were you called to be when you were brought into this world, and whatever that is, beat to that
mm,
drum.
I love that. So beautifully said. I love the way you speak, and I'm sure you're gonna get that grant because if you write as well as you speak, you are gonna be fine.
Thank you so much.
But
I didn't think you
thank
would
you.
like talk to me or anything, so thank you for being so approachable. And
Oh yeah,
my team
thank
is
you
so
for
sweet.
yeah, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing your time. I'm grateful for you. I would love to tap in and we can definitely collab and see how we can help each other be dope in each other's lives at the very least. Let me see how I can add value to your life. I would love that.
I love it. Thank you so much, and thanks to everyone else.
Peace. My community. That was Dr. Ren Ren. Y'all see? Yo, we got some powerful, powerful women out here doing some dope, dope things. So to all my people out there, all my men out there, yo, focus on your purpose because there are women out there who are doing their shit, taking care of themselves, and we got to step up. And it all starts with therapy, therapy, therapy. Yeah, also, who was that? Who's that? Sweet Destiny said I was feeling her. Yeah, I was feeling her. She was dope as fuck. We got time for one more, guys. What's going on? My community. So, yes, I am here for it. I am going to bring in one more person, and we're going to spend a few more minutes before I go on with the rest of my day. Yay! My community. Yay!
Hello.
Hey! Ethically Monogamous. Yo, tell us your name, where you from, where you at.
I am in Colorado enjoying the beautiful green. There's my dog
Hi, dog.
sunbathing.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we have a few minutes left. I wanted to bring you on. What are you have any thoughts, any final thoughts? What's your heart saying right now?
Yeah, I mean, I love everyone you had on.
Mm-hmm.
With the first guest you had on, I thought it was really cool what he touched on. It seemed like his story was a little bit more about the trust was broken early on. So it didn't sound like it happened when he was engaged, but it happened like when he was starting this relationship. So she kind of had some insecurities and some trust issues
Mm-hmm.
just based off of kind of how the relationship initiated.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it seemed like she couldn't let go of that, which, like you said, he took accountability. That's all he can really do.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have to decide together if, like, for her, in her case, it was, are you going to be able to forgive him and move on and not live in this fear? But it didn't sound like they could get through that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tough when, how many times are we in relationships where things are getting shaky? We are getting a little bit nervous. Maybe the anxiety is a little bit high of how the relationship's going, and we want to do something, anything to hold on to that relationship. And a lot of times people will force a marriage, force commitment. they'll break their boundaries just so this person doesn't leave them. And man, if it's one thing I preach, you have to know that we live in
Right.
abundance, and everything that we want, we deserve. So even when you think about it metaphysically,
Mm-hmm.
the idea of projecting that fear that this person's going to leave them is actually pushing them away even further.
Right.
And so whenever I feel anxious or nervous or unsure in relationships, the first thing I do is just stop. I won't do
Yeah.
anything, and I'll try and position myself in a way mentally where I can think clearly, whether that's through meditation, yoga, journaling,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that I am making decisions from a peaceful, calm place.
Right.
Because a lot of times we will make decisions from a fear based place, like, oh, I don't want this person to leave me, so I'm going to do X. I don't want this person to hate me, so I'm going to do Y. And so, what are some things that you do when you feel the tinge of insecurity?
For me, it goes back to kind of what you said. So you mentioned something like don't make any big decisions before 12 months because
Mm,
I think trust has to be
yeah,
earned, especially if there's a history of someone, breaking someone's
yeah,
trust. Like it's fair to just be like, hey, it's not that I think you'll do this to me, but I may have to see some consistency with you before I can fully commit. And then on top of it, the fear is very
yeah,
human, and it's okay to feel that. But like you said, don't let it get in the way of you pursuing a relationship,
yeah,
especially if all the signs are showing, hey, this person really does want to change and they really don't want to do that to you or live that way. And we're all humans, so we do make mistakes. So, yeah, it's basically a combination of things, right? Like
yeah.
being careful. It's okay to be a little bit careful and protect
Mhm.
yourself, but don't let it um, ruin the chance at a beautiful relationship, right?
Mhm.
And then on top of it, yeah, don't rush into things,
Yeah,
uh, but use that time to get to know someone. Use that time for this person to earn your trust
yeah,
and work through it that way. The other thing I want to talk about, because this live was a lot about marriage,
yeah,
and
yeah.
one of the things that I'm like, marriage is nothing wrong with marriage, right?
Right.
Like I think what people don't do, and I think would be a good way to approach marriage is we also need to discuss one, what a marriage looks like, because
Mm,
we're just told to get married
mm,
and we're not really told like what that actually looks like, and it shouldn't look one way anyway.
right.
um, and then on top of it, also talk about divorce. Like the reality is we may get divorced even though that's not our intention.
Mm,
Talk about divorce early on, and talk
mm-hmm.
about if you did get to a point where you do want to go your separate ways. Talk about it when you are friends, when you guys
Yeah,
are are on the same page, versus
right.
when you're angry at each other or have hurt each other, and then it just gets ugly. No, it's not, don't talk about divorce because that's like where it's going to end, but realistically when we look at statistics, there's a good chance that could happen. So
Mm,
I think if we approached marriage with a plan for what divorce looked like as well, that's actually a healthy way to approach it.
right.
And some
Right.
people agree. I've also seen on some accounts, I read this one thing about how marriage should be viewed as like it is a contract, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you should review it every 5 years,
Mm,
sit down and say, do I still want to be in this?
right.
Mm-hmm.
Ambitious minded piece says get a prenup. Yo, sometimes you can get a prenup and that it's still gonna, still may be a rough landing for you. You know what I
But I'm
mean?
pro prenup,
For
right?
sure.
I had a conversation with my mom about that, and she's like, "Oh, what? Like it's
Yeah.
scary. It's almost viewed as a negative, but why not discuss those things early on, even review it maybe every couple years,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're going into marriage and you don't have kids, but then you have kids, like that
Yeah.
prenup changes, or your business grows together because you start a business together, or I don't know, like what your marriage looks like when you start off looks very different at 5 years, at 10 years. So these things should be constantly renegotiated because we change and we grow. And I think people just need to view marriage a little bit differently.
Ren, a guest that I just had on before, said a marriage is a marriage is a marriage is a marriage. So every marriage looks different. And yes, while there are still some, like thou shalt not commit adultery, there's still people who married who like commit adultery. So how can we, I guess, architect our relationships in a way that still holds the old adage of some of the old ways of marriage? How can we intertwine the two, because things are changing, social media, being able to go anywhere in the world, like the world is so much smaller, 8 billion people, and I got to be with one, just one. How can we make that work? How can we make it work?
That's a good question. I think that's why people are challenging that. But I think it comes down to commitment, right?
Mm, mm,
Just wrote marriage is committing to growing together,
mm,
right? I think there's a lot of truth to that.
mm,
Um, you're committing to growing together, but at the same time, it is very difficult because I was married, but I met my ex-husband, I'm in my 20s. I'm still to my core the same person. I just have a lot more knowledge and I have a lot more clarity on what a marriage looks like for me. And our idea of marriage was ended up being different. So you have to leave room, I guess, for that as well. Um, but yeah, I guess that's kind of complicated. I don't believe in the one, kind of like you're
yeah,
saying, but I do think
yeah,
you have to choose someone every day.
yeah.
You have to choose this partner, you have to choose this best friend. You're choosing someone to build a life with is what you're
Mm,
doing, right?
mm,
And as long as you guys are working together, growing together, then I think it can be very successful, right?
I do too. I do too. And just like you said, you have to choose this person every day. Another thing that you said that really touched me was leaving your past in the past. I think a lot of times we subconsciously make our new partners pay for the sins of our exes.
Yeah.
And I did not mean to do that. Sorry.
It's the whole thumbs up thing.
It's an algorithm. It's an
I
algorithm. But being able to leave the past in the past, because bringing that energy, bringing that perception, bringing those preconceived biases to a new person isn't
yeah,
fair. How can we move past our exes? And I mean, you said you were married. How did you get to a point where you felt I'm a new person, I'm a different person, and the next person who gets to experience me is going to have the freedom free of my past?
that's a good question. I think it was when I felt very confident about the level of awareness and work and in I guess insight that I invest in myself. Once I knew I was doing that for myself, and then we talked about it previously, the honesty and transparency.
Mm,
That is huge for me. The relationships I've had recently, it's all about honesty and transparency. And I also say that all of the men that I've dated, they've said the same thing. Your communication is like insane, and you are consistent and honest.
yeah.
So I'm not I don't lead people on. I'm honest with who I am, and I'm honest about what level of relationship I can offer to the
Mm,
people that I've
mm,
dated. Now I'm
mm,
in a bit of a more serious relationship now, and we're both incredibly vulnerable and honest and transparent with each other.
yeah.
um, I kind of related a little bit to the whole, cheating thing, because my current partner has cheated in the past,
Mhm,
and it's something I'm currently working through.
mhm,
Where it's like, I once he disclosed kind of that, I knew a little bit, but as he like became more vulnerable and shared more,
mhm,
it's part of our, like, even my relationship now, because it's like, while I don't hold that against you, it's still something that I fear,
yeah.
just based off of, okay, you've done this before, but I can let go of that fear as long as the consistency of you know, of him showing up honestly and
That's
truthfully.
tough.
All
Yeah, that's
so
tough. I'm
it's,
like, how, like, yo, you got to teach us right now. How you do that? How are you able to not hold it against him? Thank you so much, Dee Dee, for not holding it against him because he was I don't even know the situation like, but just
That's for another live. We
that's,
can. I mean, I'll be posting more about this on my personal Instagram. It is. It's a big part of the relationship. It's probably the number one thing that does create a little bit of a wall for us. And I'm very aware that it's there. And it's
yeah.
coming down. And I've said over time, it will continue to come down more and more. It's there out of a protective mechanism.
Sure.
But also, he's been so honest with me about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have to forgive him, right? It had nothing to do with me, but like he goes to therapy, he does the work. Um, so it's like, yeah, I just have to it's partially taking a risk, right?
Yeah, for
A little
sure.
bit is a
For
risk.
sure.
I have to understand that, yeah, while this could be something that happens to me, I also have to think, would I be able to forgive this person? But based on how our relationship has been over the last 6 months, one thing I've been telling my friends is I believe, based off of our honesty and transparency, that if that thought ever arose, he would actually come talk to me and tell me it happened before he acted on it. That's the level
Mm.
of communication and trust and safety that we've built in such a short amount of time, that as long as we continue to have that and I continue to see that consistency in our relationship, I don't have a lot of fear of him actually acting on it, even if it were to become a thought.
Mm. Mm. I am so
Yeah.
proud of you because what you've done is you've created a safe space for him to be able to come to you
Mhm.
with his most genuine and authentic feelings and desires. And that is really all men want. A lot of times we lie because we're afraid of the reaction we're going to get. Like we don't want to upset you. And so a lot of men, and it took me a lot of time to get out of that place, because once you get to a place where you get to have your feelings too. I'm gonna give you. I'll tell people all day like, yo, I'm gonna break your heart at some point because I mean, you straight. I mean, but I'm gonna tell you. And the best relationships that I've had and the most successful relationships that I've had are the ones where we've been able to create that safe space where it's like, yo, I know he's not perfect. I know he might get into some shit, but at least I'm going to know about it.
Yep.
My body's going to be safe.
Mhm.
My mind and my mental health is going to be taken care of. And none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect.
Exactly.
And as soon as we get to that place where we can understand that, yo, I'm not perfect, they're not perfect, but we're going to try and get through this together,
Mhm.
then anything is really possible. The relationship can be anything it
Yeah.
wants. But I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you for creating that because I know it's not easy. I know it's not, and you have to make a concerted effort, and it does have to be
Mhm.
intentional. So, any last
Yeah.
pieces of advice before we go to the community? What you got for us, Didi?
I think that's it. It's be honest, be transparent, be vulnerable, and if your partner can't handle that, then that's already very telling, right? Like
Yeah.
I've created, like you mentioned, I did create this safe space. His previous relationship, he didn't have that at all.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
but he was brave enough to say, I'm going to keep doing this, even though every time I'm scared of opening up and telling her something, she could run away. He's done it time and time again. And it's
yeah.
always been so positive with me
Yeah.
that it's continued to like build that safety. So I think that's key into having a very strong relationship. And um, yeah, I don't know what it is that I'm able to provide that because I've had that even in a past relationship. This guy I dated for only 3 months. He was very avoidant, and I would
Mm,
be very patient and give him his time. And 3 months in, he was staying in these conversations
mhm.
that he would have never done before. And I even praised him afterwards. I think we were on the phone, and I said, "Hey, by the way, that was amazing. You like actually wanted to continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Like I gave you the space." And he's like, you noticed that? And I said, yeah, absolutely. I thought it was great. And he was like, thank you. And it's all
Yeah.
because I gave him the space and the time to like grow into that. And I didn't react poorly, right?
Mm.
We would have the conversations, they'd be difficult, but it was very, um, I just remained approachable.
Yeah.
And then so he felt safety and freedom to remain and not have to run away.
Mm.
So yeah, I think more people need to work towards creating that environment for each other.
Yeah.
I don't I don't really have any words on how to get there. I can't even say why I've gotten there. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's just always kind of been something more natural or just something that from capturing all this information about relationships that now it's just kind of ingrained in me.
Yeah.
And but that I think that is very telling about a relationship. So be honest, be vulnerable, um, and see how each partner reacts to it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I don't think there is a how-to guide
no,
on how to do it. You literally have to use the experiences in your
mm,
life as tests
yes,
to
right.
practice.
It is.
That's
It's
it. You
mm-hmm.
you just got to practice. So thank you so much for doing the work, and
Thank.
like all my fellas out there, get you a girl that can hold space. Like I want to encourage people to be brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
Test. I want you to go to your partner today, and I want you to tell them something that you've been hiding from them, and see how they react,
I love that.
and see how they respond to you. That's how you know if you got someone there who actually cares about you
Mm-hmm.
and wants to hold the
Right.
space to make the relationship work.
Make sure it's a good time. Make sure before you
Oh,
do that, hey, do
yeah,
you
yeah.
have space right now? I want to
Mm-hmm,
talk to
mm-hmm,
you about something. Make
mm-hmm.
sure they're not stressed. Make sure it's not right when they get home from work.
Yeah, yeah,
Make sure you're in, yeah, that the
yeah.
timing is at least right.
Um,
But I share a fear,
yeah,
share something you've been hiding, share
yeah,
something that you're scared to tell your
yeah,
partner. Just make sure that they are in a place where they can receive that
yeah,
at the best possible moment that they can, and maybe they still don't receive it well, but
yeah.
you're gonna have better odds and you're gonna see
Yes.
the reaction.
Yes, yes, yeah, and that is
Mm-hmm.
that is so. I'm so glad you said that because that's even more important
Yeah. And I
than what you have to say.
do that too. I don't always ask that. That's a
Right.
habit I'm trying to learn.
Yeah,
um is to ask that because I don't always,
yeah,
um
and
or I start speaking up
yeah,
or sharing.
yes, yes, yes. Ask your partner if they're in a place to receive some heavy information, and a couple other things I'm going to add to that to what you said. In addition to making sure that you're in the right environment, make sure that you've
Mm-hmm.
eaten right? Make sure that you're not drunk, right? And make sure that you've both gotten enough sleep so you can have the energy to have a tough conversation. So all of those things are important. And then you have to get the courage enough to say the thing.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I agree.
So thank you so much, Dee Dee.
Thank
I'll definitely
you.
tap in with you soon. And yes, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. Great job. I will talk to you soon. Yeah. Any last words? Any last words?
Oh, from me? No,
Yeah.
no, I'm good. What about you? What do you have to
Me?
say? Yeah.
No, I'm just grateful. I think that me continuing to be open, continuing to be authentic, taking all the backlash from speaking my truth has been empowering for me. And thank you for being vulnerable and conversing with me in this way. It's
Thank
been very good for me.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for building such a strong community. I know you're helping a lot of people in so many
Yes.
different ways, whether it's through relationships or dentistry. I think it's amazing.
Thank you so much. We're here. We're doing this. It's just the beginning.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye. My community. Oh, everybody's trying to get on the live now. God damn. Everybody's trying to. Okay, guys. I actually have to go. I got shit to do today. I would love to talk to you guys. You guys tap in with me next week. I'm probably gonna go live one time during the week at some point. It's gonna be a surprise, so you guys stay tapped in. If you haven't gotten your liability shirts, I know I haven't been pushing it, but yo, y'all go get your liability shirts. Go get your liability shirts and go get your Who's Your Dinner shirts. Those just are so funny. All right, team. I appreciate you guys. I will tap in. If I didn't get a chance to talk to you, and then tap in next week. If you didn't get a chance to actually see this live today, it was really good. We had some great guests. Thank you to all the guests who were vulnerable with me, sharing up their stories and their perspectives. Tomorrow we're gonna put this on live, and if you are looking for something, don't forget. I think we just posted it. It's on YouTube right now. I got my plant medicine journey, y'all. I didn't even tell y'all about this. So was this back in April? I did a plant medicine journey. I'm not going to get into the details. You go watch the YouTube video for that. But I went through a transformation that allowed my physiologic response to be so calm, so on point, so powerful. And I want to share it with you guys. And I didn't wake up like this. I didn't just go and try some plant medicines like randomly, but the opportunity came to me and I took it and it changed my life. And I don't even feel like I need to do it again. That was one of those things like, oh, man, once you see what's down the rabbit hole, you're like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm going to go take this information and go make a dope ass life with it. And that's what the experience showed me. And I want you guys to go check it out on my YouTube channel. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.